Hello, welcome to Dr. Aparna's Healthcare. So today we are going to discuss about the topic hair growth. We all might be wondering what we can do to increase the thickness as well as the growth of the hair. So to understand that, first we need to understand about the hair growth and the structure of the hair. So first we'll talk about the structure of the hair. The hair mainly consists of two different parts, that is the hair follicle and the hair shaft. So hair follicle is the part which resides in the skin and shaft is the part which is seen above the scalp. So we are all born with all the hair follicles that we'll ever have in the life. That is, no hair follicles are formed after the birth, and we have nearly 80,000 to 1,20,000 hair follicles at the time of birth itself. And these hair follicles are surrounded by blood capillaries and they provide nourishment to our hair. And hair, actually the growth of the hair starts from this hair follicle. Now to tell about the shaft is the part which is seen above the scalp and it is made up of a hard protein called keratin. And the shaft consists of three layers, that is the innermost layer called the medulla, the middle layer called the cortex and the outermost layer called the cuticle. Now let's understand about the growth of the hair. The hair grows for about 0.3 to 0.4 millimeter every day, that is about 6 inches per year. To understand about the hair growth, we have to understand the hair growth cycle. That is, each of the hair of a human body, it undergoes through 3 cycles or 3 phases, and this include anagen phase, catagen phase and telogen phase. So anagen phase is the active phase during which the hair growth is very active and it lasts for nearly 2 to 6 years. So some people might be complaining that their hair might not grow beyond a certain length. So here the reason is because they have a very short active growth phase or very short anagen phase. So catagen phase is actually the transition phase and it lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks, and 3% of the hair in our scalp will be always in the catagen phase, and during this phase it starts the formation of club hair. By club hair we mean actually the hair which had stopped its growth. Now last phase is actually the telogen phase and 6 to 8% of all the hair in the scalp will be always in the telogen phase, and we lose nearly 25 to 100 telogen hairs per day. So during this telogen phase, the formation of the club hairs will be complete. That is, the presence of those hairs which has completed its growth will be present during this telogen phase. Now let's understand what are the causes for the hair loss. So the first cause could be medications. So the different medications you take for different disease condition. The first one is actually the medicines for blood pressure, that is high blood pressure, for heart complaints, blood thinners, acne medications with high content of vitamin A, anabolic steroids, medicines for depression, medicines for arthritis, medicines for gout. So all these medications in turn can result in hair fall. The next important cause is associated with the change in the hormonal level. So this may be seen post-delivery or may be associated with menopause in females, or it may be also associated with taking the birth control pills or with the sudden withdrawal of the birth control pills also. Another important problem that we see is associated with the diet, that is when there is a deficiency of certain vitamins, minerals or nutrients, and this include deficiency of iron, deficiency of zinc, omega-3 or 6 fatty acid, deficiency of vitamin A, vitamin B7, vitamin C, vitamin D and vitamin E. The another important factor for hair loss is stress. Stress can actually arrest the growth of the hair. Another important factor associated with hair loss is actually using of very harsh chemicals or using repetitive use of shampoos, conditioner, etc. on the hair. Applying a lot of heat on the hair is also another important cause for hair loss. That is, using of flat irons, curling irons, blow dryers, etc. can also lead to hair loss. Smoking is another important cause for hair loss, and hair loss may be also associated with some of the disease conditions, and this include conditions like hypothyroidism, polycystic ovarian syndrome or eating disorders, or associated with ringworm infection of the scalp or certain autoimmune conditions. So what are the tips you can do to increase the hair growth and hair thickness? The first important tip that you have to keep in mind is avoid restrictive dieting. So when you do restrictive dieting, the hair may not get the adequate nutrient requirements it needs, and this may result in hair fall called the telogen effluvium, or it can result in alopecia, that is baldness of the hair. So it's very essential that you always take a well balanced diet which is rich in all the protein, vitamins, minerals, etc., which are required for the hair growth. So always avoid restrictive dieting, crash diets, and diets which are low in the protein level. Okay. Next important step you have to take note is that to boost your nutrient profile, that is always make sure that you take a diet which is rich in vitamins, minerals, and nutrients which are required for your hair growth, and this include vitamin B7, which is actually a vitamin in the B complex list, then the vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, omega 3 and 6 fatty acids, zinc, as well as iron. So let's first understand which are the foods which is rich in this each of these vitamins. So first let's see what are the food sources of vitamin B7 or biotin. The food rich in vitamin B7 or biotin include sweet potato, banana, avocado, cheese, egg yolk, liver of meat, almonds, nuts, seeds, cauliflower, broccoli, lettuce, legumes, walnut, etc. Salmon is also a very good source of vitamin B7. Food sources of vitamin C include mainly the citrus fruits, strawberry, capsicum, kiwi, papaya, green leafy vegetables, broccoli, guava, amla, tomato, lemon, etc. Now let's understand what is the source of vitamin D. So vitamin D is mainly obtained from sunlight, and the best time to soak yourself in sunlight for vitamin D is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now let's see what are the food source of vitamin D. The food source of vitamin D include mushroom, oysters, egg, milk, fatty fish, fortified yogurt, cheese, cod liver oil, etc. Vitamin E is also very important for the health of scalp as well as for hair growth because of its natural antioxidant properties. And the food rich in vitamin E include sunflower seed, sesame seeds, almonds, avocado, spinach, olive oil, papaya, parsley, trout fish, broccoli, red sweet pepper, etc. Iron is another important nutrient which promotes the hair growth, and the food rich in iron include legumes, grains, red meat, chicken, liver of beef, pork, iron fortified cereals, broccoli, dark chocolate, pumpkin seeds, tofu, whole grain, green peas, bok choy, raisins, soybeans, shellfish, egg yolk, etc. Omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids are other important components required in the diet which helps in the hair growth. But always you make sure that the amount of omega 3 taken is always more than the amount of omega 6 taken, because otherwise it can lead to the development of inflammatory reactions in the body. And the food rich in omega 3 fatty acid include fish oil, fishes like tuna, mackerel, herring, algal oil, flax seeds, broccoli, egg, cod liver oil, spinach, Brussels, etc. The food rich in omega 6 include corn chips, walnuts, peanut butter, almonds, cashew, chickpeas, tofu, sunflower oil, sunflower seeds, etc. Third important tip that you can do to improve your hair growth or to increase the thickness of your hair is to do the scalp massage. So the scalp massage, it dilate the blood vessels and it results in more stronger and thicker hair growth. Next important point that you have to keep in mind is stay away from applying much heat to your hair. So the heat from your blow dryers, flat irons, curling irons, etc. can damage your hair. So this can actually affect the hair growth as well as the texture of your hair. So make sure that you limit the use of this heat application onto your hair. Next important point is to avoid the hair coloring. So when you use the permanent dyes to your hair, it can take away the fatty acid which make up the hair and can result in hair damage. So especially when you choose dramatic colors, it can really affect your hair's texture as well as the hair growth. So always use those colors which are less dramatic, or avoid bleaching to your hair. Now take necessary steps to prevent the breakage of hair. This include, instead of using a blow dryer, you can air dry your hair, and when you use a towel, always use blotting technique instead of rubbing it. Another one is that when you sleep, always make sure that the hair is styled properly so that it avoids the unnecessary friction, rubbing, etc. While combing the hair, use a wooden comb. So all these tips can be adopted so that to prevent the breakage of hair. Also make note that you trim your hair regularly. So when you trim your hair regularly, it helps in the hair growth. It also prevents the split ends from further spreading up, and thus it promotes a hair growth. Protect the hair during sleep. Always make sure that you get adequate amount of sleep every day. At least 7 to 8 hours of sleep is very much necessary for the hair's growth. Hairstyles can also damage your hair. Avoid hairstyles like ponytails, cornrows and buns. Avoid those hairstyles which actually pull your hair so much tightly, because it put so much stress on the roots. So avoid such elastics, hair bands, etc. which pulls your hair. Manage the stress level, because stress is another important factor which causes the hair fall, or which pauses the hair growth. So chronic stress actually can cause a pause in the hair growth cycle itself. So manage your stress with yoga, meditation, exercise, etc. Another treatment option that we have to increase the hair growth is platelet-rich plasma treatment. So in this treatment, the patient's own plasma is injected, and so it activates the hair follicles which are dormant, and thus increases the thickness as well as the growth of your hair. So these are some of the tips you can make note to increase your hair growth as well as to increase the thickness of your hair. So while taking note of all these tips, always make sure that you take a diet which is very rich in all the nutrients, vitamins and minerals required for the hair growth. Eating a well-balanced diet rich in proteins and all these vitamins is very much essential for your hair growth. And I hope you all got an idea regarding the hair growth, about the factors which affect the hair growth and what are the tips you can do to manage it. So if you have any further queries, you can contact Dr. Aparna's Healthcare. Thank you.